Welcome to 2020. I want to challenge you today to treat January like a first fruit. Romans 11:16 says, "For if the first fruit is holy, the lump is also holy. And if the root is holy, so are the branches." So we want to set aside January and let it set the tone for the entire year. We want to sanctify that month to the Lord. And just as in the Old Testament, they used to set aside the first portion of the harvest and give it to the Lord, it would make holy the entire harvest. We're going to have 21 days of fasting and prayer from January the 10th through the 31st. 2 Kings 13:14 says, "Now Elisha had been suffering from the illness from which he died. Jehoash, king of Israel, went down to him, wept over him. 'My father,' he cried, 'the chariots and horsemen of Israel.' Elisha said, 'Get a bow and some arrows.' And so he did. 'Take the bow in your hands,' he said to the king of Israel. When he had taken it, Elisha put his hands on the king's hands. 'Open the east window,' he said to him, and he opened it. 'Shoot,' Elisha said, and he shot. The Lord's arrow of victory, the arrow of victory over Aram. Elisha declared, 'You will completely destroy the Arameans at Aphek.' Then he said, 'Take the arrows.' And the king took them. Elisha told him, 'Strike the ground.' He struck the ground 3 times and stopped. The man of God was angry with him, and he said, 'You should have struck the ground 5 or 6 times. Then you would have defeated Aram completely and destroyed it. But now you will defeat it only 3 times. So what does this say to us? It tells us that there are degrees of victory. That it's possible for us to have just partial victory or complete victory. And the truth is that you and I set the tone for this. When it came down to it, what determined the actual victory that they had? God intended a complete victory. The prophet had even declared a complete victory, but it's what the king did that determined how much would actually be accomplished. So this proves to us that what is done now affects later. The future is not only determined by what is done in the future, it is affected by how we act right now. So what you're doing now matters. Another thing this shows us is that intensity is required. The prophet told him to hit the ground with the arrows and didn't say how many times. And so he just 1, 2, 3. And then the prophet is like, you should have done more. If you would have done more, if there would have been, see, what the king did showed what was in his heart. He was not fully aligned with God. If he would have felt and if he would have been in alignment with what God was thinking and how God felt about this, he would have hit the ground as many times as God would have. But instead, it was only partial. He didn't have enough intensity. And that affected the future. See, Elisha understood all this. That's why he was mad. He could see what was happening at a spiritual level that Jehoash had no clue of. So it's really easy in our day to be lulled into lukewarmness by our society. Jesus said, I know your works, that they are neither cold nor hot. Would that you were either cold or hot. But because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I am about to spit you out of my mouth. Those are strong words. We're about to enter into 21 days prayer and fasting. What tone do you want to set for this new year? I encourage you to stir yourself up right now. Stir yourself up. Align your heart with the heart of God. And to take this first month of the year and treat it with great intensity. And say, I want to set the tone. I'm giving you January holy unto you. I'm going to go further. I'm going to go to even the fast level. And we've talked about different ways that you can fast. But I want to show you how serious I am about this year. You know, a lot of people enter a new year and they say, boy, I hope this is going to be a good year. And I believe I can hear God say from heaven, it'll be as good as you will allow me to make it for you. If you're a hit the ground once with the arrow kind of person, you'll have partial victory. But if you take those arrows and you hit them on the ground till they're splintered, you will enable me to give you a greater year. What we do matters. God bless you and have a good day.